Welcome to my comprehensive beginner guide for Silver and Blood. Here, I will teach you everything you need to know to put together the ultimate team of goth girlfriends, choir girls, and a few guys to conquer everything the game throws at you. Silver and Blood's campaign is the bulk of the game's content. It also serves as the gate for unlocking other activities. There is a normal difficulty and a hard difficulty. Aside from engaging with a compelling story, you'll be rewarded with pulls, resources, and moon tiers. Moon tiers are primarily used for summoning characters, also known as vassals. There are a few other uses for moon tiers, but for now, understand that more moon tiers equals more pulls. There are three types of banners you can pull on. There are featured banners, the standard banner, and the social banner. The featured banners give an increased drop rate for the featured vassal. These are the banners that you should primarily spend your moon tiers on. Most featured vassals tend to be available in the standard banner after their banner concludes, unless the vassal is specifically labeled as timed. Timed vassals will not go into the standard banner and will only be available again if their featured banner reruns at a later date. An example of a timed vassal is Lorelei, who was only available during the summer event. This is the standard banner, and it allows you to select 5 vassals from each faction with the wishlist or altar system. If you pull a SSR unit from this banner, then it will always be one of the selected vassals. One thing to note, as of the recording of this video, is that ancestral units are excluded from the altar. Ancestral units can be thought of as SSR+. They also have a lower drop rate than SSR vassals. This is the social banner. You can send and receive 30 tokens daily, so max out your friend list and exchange tokens every day. Each pull requires 10 tokens. This banner has a reduced SSR drop rate, and it cannot drop ancestral vassals. I don't believe it's worth the time to reroll. The game rewards you with plenty of pulls and free vassals. While there are a few strong outliers that can help you push high deficits, you're unlikely to hit a long-lasting wall until the last 3 or 4 chapters of the campaign. Powerful vassals are being added every month, so don't stress if you can't pull the best characters in the early stages of your account. When building a team, the first thing you need to consider is moon phases. Each character's ultimate ability correlates to a specific moon phase. Once an ability from each phase has been used, then your team enters the Blood Moon state. Blood Moon reduces the cost of all ultimate abilities by 1 and increases all damage dealt by 25% for 10 seconds. After the Blood Moon ends, then you must use an ultimate from each moon phase again to re-trigger the Blood Moon state. The second thing to consider in regards to team composition is the roles that each vassal will fill. For simplicity's sake, there are 3 roles: support, DPS, tank. Warriors and assassins are melee DPS, marksmen and sorcerers are range DPS, defenders are tanks, and enchanters are support. A balanced team composition is recommended for most content, so aim for at least 1 tank, 1 support, and 1 DPS. Double or triple up on roles when necessary. A good beginner comp would be Iona, Gestal, Noah, Impuza, and Seti. Replace each vassal with relevant SSRs as you acquire them. For example, you could replace Gestal with Bella when you acquire her through the new player reward track. Now that we know about summoning vassals and building team compositions, let's break down the mechanics and learn how combat works. Start by deploying your vassals on the provided grid. Usually, you'll want to form a front line to protect your back line. Now let's take a look at this menu over here. Here you can quick deploy, which will automatically deploy your highest blood power team, view your saved lineups, view records of other players' completions, and organize your starting hand. When viewing other players' completions, you can click here to copy their team composition and placement. Always make sure to create a starting hand for your team. A good rule of thumb is to set up your initial hand to activate Blood Moon as soon as possible. When combat begins, most of the action is played out automatically. You can increase the speed of combat, and you may use your vassal's ultimate abilities. If your team is much stronger than the enemies, then you can turn on autoplay, which will use their ultimates without manual input. Ultimate abilities require Blood Soul to be activated. Blood Soul is generated by each vassal passively. Some vassals can actively increase blood soul generation. An example of this is Acapella's ultimate. If a vassal dies, then you will generate blood soul more slowly. Eventually, you'll hit a wall in the campaign and you'll have to increase your blood power to progress farther. You can see here the blood power of your team and the blood power of the enemies. Blood power is a measurement of how strong your team is. The lower your power level is compared to the power level of your enemy, the weaker your team will be. Completing stages with a 10 to 20% power deficit is reasonable, but as you approach 40 to 50%, then only the most optimized teams will even stand a chance. So how do you get more blood power? The three main sources of blood power are Vassal Levels, Skill Levels, and Gear. There are other ways to increase blood power, but for now we're going to focus on the aforementioned three. So let's start with levels. Let's take a look at the character page. This is Timeless Iona, and you can see that she is currently level 194 out of 200. You can click here to spend resources to level up. A vassal's level can be reset at any time for 10 moon tiers. The cost never increases, and you will always be refunded the full amount of resources invested. In the early stages of your account, you're going to want to level up 5 SR rank vassals to start. The reason for this is because a vassal's max level is limited by the total number of copies you have of them. This mechanic is known as Spirit Siphon. You may also hear it referred to as Limit Break. At Spirit Siphon 0, a vassal's max level is 80. Every time you get a duplicate of a vassal, you can use it to gain bonus stats and increase their max level by 40. SR units are capped at 2 Spirit Siphons and level 160. SSR units may be Spirit Siphoned 10 times, but their level will be capped at 200, so you only need 3 Spirit Siphons to achieve max level. So I've mentioned level caps, Spirit Siphons, and that you should level SR units to start. Let's take a look at another system where all of this comes into play. This is the Transfusion Tree. You won't have access to this immediately, but it unlocks within the first few chapters of the campaign. The Transfusion Tree will slot in your 5 highest level vassals, and bring every vassal slotted into the grid below it equal to the level of your 5th highest vassal. For example, the vassal furthest to the right is where your 5th highest level vassal will be. Mine is Augustine, and you can see that he is currently level 194. Vassals slotted into the Transfusion Tree can be a higher level than their Spirit Siphon allows. You can see that I have several vassals that are Spirit Siphon 0, but also level 194. Additional slots may be purchased for 500 moon tiers each. However, you can freely swap vassals in and out of the tree, and there is no lockout period. Purchasing additional slots is purely a quality of life choice. Once you have 5 characters at level 200, you will start spending resources to increase the level of your tree rather than individual vassals. At this stage, you can level up far beyond 200. The second way to increase blood power is with skills. Every character has 4 skills: their passive, their basic attack, their special ability, and their ultimate ability. The passive ability cannot be leveled up, but the other 3 can. Skills become progressively more expensive to level up, including the need for different types of materials, starting at level 4 and level 7. Leveling each vassal's skills to 4 is a low investment that I recommend as the minimum amount for any vassal you plan to use. The third way to increase your power is with gear. There are 3 types of gear: heavy, medium, and light. Sometimes, you may receive a piece of gear that gives bonuses if equipped on a vassal from a specific faction, such as Bloodborne or Church. There are 9 tiers of gear, and you can enhance any piece of gear up to 5 times. You get access to higher tiers of gear pretty quickly, so I'd advise not to invest many resources into them unless you really need the extra power. Sully, Pureblood, and Divine Blood are the 3 currencies used to level up your vassals. Sully will be the limiting factor before level 200, but Divine Blood will become a much bigger bottleneck afterwards. You'll often be rewarded with containers of these currencies with a number at the top left corner. This vial of Pureblood has a 12H. This means that when you use the consumable, you will be granted 12 hours worth of Pureblood. How much is 12 hours worth? The amount is determined by the level of your Moonlight Tribute. This is the Moonlight Tribute. Here, you'll be able to claim your passively generated resources. Make sure to claim these at least once a day to prevent your storage from filling up. You can give an extra sermon to instantly claim 2 hours of resources. This can be claimed for free once a day. Every use after the free one will cost moon tears. Currently, I'm generating pure blood equal to 6,043 per minute. Now take a look at how much divine blood I'm generating. 44 per hour. Once you reach Vassal level 200, each level up will cost 10,000 divine blood. I would suggest saving these containers and using them when needed. When given the option of purchasing pure blood, divine blood, or solely, I would always suggest purchasing divine blood because it is the best long-term choice. The castle is where you'll access several different features. The Moonlight Tribute, which you can access from the main menu as well. Expeditions, which are daily missions that require no interaction from you aside from starting them and claiming the rewards when they're finished. The Hall of Honor gives you access to perks. These perks are unlocked over time by just playing the game and completing content. The Council Chamber lets you invite 5 vassals per day to participate in a council hearing. It's just a quick little RP event that increases affection with each participating vassal. The amount of affection each vassal receives is based on the decision you make, but I wouldn't stress too much about it because the variance is negligible and you can rarely please everyone. Affection unlocks backstory for your vassals, including short storylines between the main character, Noah, and the vassal. Affection also gives bonus stats the higher the level. Aside from inviting a vassal to the council chamber, their affection can be increased by giving them gifts. The max affection level is capped, but it can be increased with additional spirit siphon levels. The observatory allows you to unlock perks by spending resources, primarily solely. You should purchase these as soon as possible. Do not ignore these even though they can seem like a heavy investment. The Starry Wilderness gives you access to interactive side stories involving vassals. They're purely for flavor, but you do get a gift every time you complete one. You can skip the text to complete them instantly if you only want the gift. The Ritual Chamber Lineage tab lets you spend the relevant currencies to upgrade individual types of vassals. The Blood Covenant tab allows you to slot 5 vassals of each role to increase the stats of all vassals. The stats increase with the total amount of spirit siphons. The Endless Abyss is a selection of 5 different towers with increasingly difficult combat stages. The Tower of Purification can be accessed at any time, and any vassal may be used within it. The other 4 towers may only be accessed on specific days, which are highlighted here. Within these towers, only vassals of the corresponding faction may be used. For example, you may only use church vassals within the Tower of the Church. The Mausoleum is a game mode similar to a roguelite tower defense. Set up your units just like any other combat stage, but the difference is that you'll be defending against increasingly difficult waves of enemies. If 10 enemies manage to slip by your units and enter the portal, then your attempt is over. Periodically, you'll be given a chest that allows you to pick 2 out of 3 available options. You'll be offered a choice of relics, materia, and inventory expansions. Relics give powerful bonuses to the relevant vassals, and can be upgraded with specific materia. Place the materia directly adjacent to the relic to upgrade it. Materia also gives general bonuses to your vassals by having it in your inventory. Inventory expansions will give you more slots to place items. You're given rewards based on how many waves you've cleared. This will be your primary source of materials used for leveling Vassal skills. Deeper levels can be unlocked by completing campaign stages. The Blood Arena is where you will test your mettle against whales and bots. Currency is rewarded for each victory in the gauntlet, and additional currency is mailed to you each day at daily reset, based on your rank for the day. Your rank is determined by how many points you have acquired compared to the other players in your group. The Crucible uses a separate ranking system and passively generates currency for you based on your current rank. You'll need 3 teams to compete, and you'll take the rank of whoever you challenge and defeat. So if you were rank 20 and you manage to defeat the player at rank 10, then you will be rank 10. Daily free attempts are given for both the Gauntlet and Crucible. Additional attempts may be purchased for moon tiers, however, I would not recommend doing this unless you plan to push for a high ranking. The Tomb of the Fallen is where you will challenge daily boss fights. This is your primary source of gear and gear enhancing items. Once you attempt a boss, you can quick slay it to acquire rewards based on your best score. You do not have to manually fight a boss if you've already attempted it before. Just quick slay it to get your maximum achieved rewards each day. You can gain access to more difficult and rewarding bosses by progressing in the campaign. The Dutchman's Revenge is a set of one-off puzzles to unlock artifacts, blueprints, and other rewards. Just like with the previous two activities, you can unlock more stages by progressing through the campaign. Artifacts are similar to equipment. They can be equipped to multiple vassals at a time, but the max amount of vassals that can equip it is based on the level of the artifact. Artifacts gain an additional powerful effect at level 5. When it comes to monthly events, do everything you can each day. Buy event tokens with moon tiers, but I would not recommend using them until hard or nightmare mode unlocks. You get 5 tokens to spend on event missions each day that are separate from the ones you can purchase. Join an active clan as soon as possible. You can claim daily rewards from the clan sign-in tab. You will also get access to the Ancestral Vault. Acquire a copy of Julius and Cyrene, then once you have 4 copies of both, you can summon Valora. This will take a long time, but don't neglect it. You can also go to the member tab and click the heart next to anyone's name to give them 50 clan crests. You can do this once a day, and you can do it on yourself. This is the cash shop. I won't go too in depth with it other than to say that there is a daily, weekly, and monthly free package that you can claim. Aside from that, buy whatever you're comfortable with. There are 5 different shops that you can spend in-game currency at. The general store can be ignored except for the daily free purchase. If you have a free store refresh, then make sure to use it each day. When you summon duplicates of vassals that you already have at max spirit siphon, you will get currency that can be used in the Covenant shop. I would recommend only buying perfect shards and ignoring everything else. Whenever you pull on the standard banner, you get 1 fragrant residue for each pull. You can spend them here to acquire spirit shards of SSR units available in the standard banner. The selection rotates daily, and shards for any SSR vassal can appear here. Ancestral and timed vassals are excluded for now. You can only buy spirit shards. You will not unlock the character by purchasing one of these shards. The blood shop is where you can spend currency obtained from the blood arena. You may purchase 1 heavily discounted copy of Pavana, and then each additional copy costs 375,000. I would recommend skipping Pavana or only buying the discounted copy of her. The rest of your currency should be spent on crystal balls. These are used to upgrade Vassal Skills above level 4. The clan shop is for buying blueprints to upgrade artifacts. Join a clan as soon as possible so that you can start accumulating clan crests. So that pretty much wraps up everything I wanted to cover in my beginner guide. I sincerely hope it helps you, and I appreciate you watching it to the end. If you have any questions, then please feel free to drop a comment. If you have any suggestions for future guides, then let me know. Consider liking and subscribing, and I look forward to seeing you here again.